Hey guys, welcome back to the two-part video series about what actors can learn from crime documentary dramas like Dateline NBC, 48 Hours, and 2020. The first video we looked at the actor's perspective, what actors can learn from the victims and the loved ones of the family members to whom these tragedies occur. And in this video, we're going to talk about the producer and the writer's perspective and how they carefully manipulate the audience members' journey as well as the victims and loved ones' journeys while they are telling their story. There's so much great stuff for actors here. Okay, so now let's look at it from the producer's perspective. The producer is writing this story and they need it to come to life. So they are literally teasing these people who don't know what's coming, and they're basically the writer. So they're like, what is going to be most captivating for the audience? And that is to manipulate the actors with information that they don't know is coming, and they could jump, right? They could go from, you got home, and I think you said the door was already ajar, right? Elaborate on that. Well, the door looked like it had been forced open. There was splinters of wood all over, and the glass, the screen door glass was broken. So, and at that point, the producer might go, so you didn't know what to think, right? Because they do know what they're thinking, but this producer's going to stop them, and he's going to say, so you don't know what to think. And that's sort of like a fact that you didn't know was coming in a script coming along and you having to deal with it, right? Like you might get home to the house and the door's kicked in, and yet you have something else. Like maybe a neighbor stops you, right? And that's what the producer might say. They might say, but didn't you hear a noise? And you turned around and it was your uncle who you haven't seen in quite a while. And again, that's going to freeze them, the victim, and they're going to go, yes. Because see, they want to plow through. They want to get to the end. But there's no story, there's no tension, there's no captivation if you do that. So the producer, from their perspective, and this is the writer's perspective, so this is how you need to think like a writer when you are an actor, you've got to go, I can't just jump to the end. The producer wants to take me where they want to take me because they have a plan, right? And this is what you need to figure out is what's the producer's plan. So the producer is going to go, didn't your uncle show up behind you and you hadn't seen him in years? Well, what did you think right then, right? Because while you're also thinking why your door is kicked in, you also have to acknowledge that you are wondering in the back of your mind, what is my uncle doing here who I haven't seen in years, right? And then, so what did you think? And you say, I didn't know what to think. I was totally confused. And here I am dealing with this kicked in door. And there's this guy I haven't seen in a couple of years behind me. And then the producer goes, that must have been really strange, right? They're guiding them. That was strange. Yes, it was strange, right? And so between the actor or the victim and the host or the producer and the writer, they are crafting this story. So as the actor, it's really important to understand, first of all, what your job is, and that is to deliver the facts of the story, not getting ahead of yourself, not going, oh my gosh, this person lost somebody, so I'm just going to be a big fat mess, right? It's the opposite. You're like, I have lost this person, but if I lose somebody, I don't just give up on life. I know I have many other responsibilities like my children and cooking dinner and feeding myself and making car payments that don't end just because I lost a loved one. And so the police are going to show up. I'm going to have to talk to them. And that's what the producer's saying. Didn't the police show up in 5 minutes before you even walked into the house? Yes, they did. And what did they say? And so they are taking you on this story. And that's where you need to go, is don't get ahead of yourself as an actor, but then think of the producers and the writers and why things are coming along in this order, and just look at the whole storyline, okay? There is a beginning, a middle, and an end. And know where you are at any point in the story and know where it's gonna go so that you don't get ahead of it. Like you look at the fact and you go, okay, I learned this. Okay, then I learned this. But you didn't learn it all at once, even though as the actor who is in preparation. You can know it all at once. You just have to stay in the moment when you are acting. Okay, you got to live through it. You have to act like you didn't know anything. And frankly, just to know a fact doesn't mean you know how it will affect you, right? So that it's very important not to get preconceived ideas of how you should react or how you should feel. You just feel as you feel, and that's why you have to really trust your instincts, which means when a fact comes up to you, knowing who you are, what the world that you are living in is all about, that you can just trust your instincts to kick in. And that's why you have to be very free with your instincts and your emotions, so that, look, if somebody in real life told you you lost a loved one, you wouldn't have to think too hard about how to respond. Like, you don't have to wonder how you would respond. You would just respond as you respond, but it would be 100% authentic. And some people respond strangely to news like that, and a lot of times that puts them under suspicion. But it doesn't matter, okay? Maybe that works, maybe it doesn't work, but you could probably tell from the script they would write the loved one behaves strangely. Oh, okay. Well, if they're behaving strangely, that probably means they're not that affected. So it affects the relationship that you have with the loved one, or maybe it's your relationship with grief, not dealing with it, trying to avoid it. You don't need a reason why. You just need to know this person isn't dealing directly with the facts as they're coming. But that would be written, right? If it isn't written, if it just says, your loved one was found deceased, then you can just allow yourself to be truthful with that. Okay, so unless there's any extra information that says that another fact is in the script, then you don't have to make something up. You don't have to make a choice. The only choice is whether you're going to learn all the facts and whether you're going to give the facts the weight that they deserve when they deserve it. Anyway, guys, that is it. I don't want to get too long with these things, but these are fairly important concepts. In fact, they are the most important concepts. And I think if you guys watch some episodes of Dateline and 48 Hours and those kinds of shows, you'll see what I'm talking about, and it'll get you into that mindset where you go, oh my gosh, I can learn so much from what I'm watching by just watching real people go through real things. And sometimes I'm going to go, that was a strange reaction. And you're going to go, why was it so strange? And then you find out at the end, they showed you that strange reaction because it's going to have meaning later in the episode, right? They don't just throw random facts out there and leave them dangling in the breeze. They're just like a movie. Every single word in there is in there for a reason, and you have to acknowledge it and give it the weight it deserves. Every single word is just as important as any other word, because if you don't act on all of the facts of the story, it's going to become confusing and it's not going to have the impact. Like saying somebody died. Oh, that's terrible, but I don't know how it affects everybody else in this this movie, right? So you wouldn't really care because you wouldn't know if you should care. But anyway, guys, that is it. Let me know what you thought. teespring.com/hackhollywood, hackhollywood.com. Like, share, subscribe. Let me know if you got any suggestions. And am I on the right track here? Is this helpful to you guys? Let me know. Talk to you soon.